Alright guys, I've been waiting all day for this. We're finally going to get a look at our new Season 22 artifact perks. They finally released this blog, and I'm going to read this. I haven't read anything yet. It's going to be kind of my reaction, so if you just kind of want to get excited, I'm probably going to potentially talk about some builds, and obviously I'm going to have a ton of builds on the channel, revolved around all these, so if you all would like to see that, be sure to stick around. But let's just start off getting into it. So up here, they just are talking about that they're excited for the showcase, but they want to tease some artifact perks a little bit. So we have artifact perks preview. In Season 22, the Armor team wants to push boundaries for how seasonal artifacts can enable you to customize your playstyle every season, unlocking more moment-to-moment gameplay decisions and new build possibilities. Pretty good sentence to start off with. Inspired by the success of Strain Tangles, the team worked hard to develop a new sandbox feature we've dubbed Elemental Orbs. Is that gonna be kind of the same as Elemental Wells? A set of artifact perks will allow players to create these orbs when they defeat enemies with arc, solar, or void weapons. Okay. Elemental orbs can be picked up by any player and thrown to create an elementally aligned explosion that jolts, scorches, or applies volatile depending on the element of the orb. So that's cool. So I guess it's going to be literally like a Tangle, but for all the other subclasses. Certain perks deeper in the artifact also have various behaviors that trigger off these orbs and Strain Tangles, including one that rewards you when allies steal or borrow the ones you make. Okay, so that's obviously good because a lot of people do be stealing a bunch of Strain Tangles. So that's pretty sick. We think Elemental Orbs will add a novelty to build crafting for this season, and we can't wait to see what kinds of builds folks come up with while using them. Without further ado, here are the artifact perks Season 22. Kind of rhymed a little bit, so I'm really excited. We'll see if any of these are going to be kind of mandatory, maybe for something like the day one raid. So we have anti-barrier auto rifle, piercing bowstring, which is anti-barrier bows, unstoppable scout rifle, overload hand cannon, and unstoppable fusion rifle in the first column. Hand cannons are getting a pretty significant buff with this season, so that's pretty exciting to see. We are going to have a champion mod, so they can be pretty useful in in-game content. But then in the next column, we have arc strand siphon, solar strand siphon, void strand siphon. These are the ones that just combine the void and strand mods together, so you only have to take one mod. The origin perk specialization to obviously boost the origin trade up, and then diviner's discount. All scavenger mods are discounted. That's a new one. Do you want to reduce the scavenger mods? I don't really know many people that use scavenger mods because most people just take the surge mods. But scrolling back up to the top, we're now going to have fanatic tangles. Strand weapon final blows have a chance to generate a tangle. That's a fragment. I'm pretty sure that's just a fragment on the strand subclass, so now you could just have that as a perk. I wonder if they'll stack in some way. I guess that's pretty cool, but it's not really hard to create tangles because literally anything in the strand kit can make a tangle pretty much. So I guess it's okay. The origin perk specialization too, again, just to buff your origin traits. We also have elemental orbs void. So while using a void subclass, void weapon final blows have a chance to spawn a void elemental orb. Void orbs can be thrown to create a void explosion, making enemies that damages volatile. So this is like what they talked about earlier. Now you're gonna have basically Warmind cells but for void, and it can proc on weapon kills, so that's pretty cool. Now elemental orbs arc, I would imagine this is going to be the same thing. While using arc subclass, arc weapon final blows have a chance to spawn an elemental orb. Arc orbs can be thrown and it causes them to jolt. Yes, the exact same thing. And then the solar, which again, probably not going to read it, but just skimming through real quick, it is the exact same thing, but it is just based on solar weapons instead of void and arc. But that pretty much confirms that solar, arc, and void are going to be the main elements this season, if I had to guess. So we're going to get in the cool mods here in a second. But overload machine guns, that's pretty cool. Now all their machine guns can overload. Obviously machine guns are actually pretty strong in the game now, so this would probably be pretty good to take. Elemental fury, while stunned, champions take bonus damage from your abilities and elemental orb damage. So that's pretty cool. Obviously that's just a nice little buff to have. You stun a champion, all your abilities are going to do more damage. Obviously this probably also works with things like supers or just any ability, but also your elemental orbs. So if your elemental orbs do a lot of damage, this could potentially be really cool. If you have like a ability spam build, which are a lot of builds in Destiny now at this point, you can stun a champion. Now that grenade you throw is going to do a lot more damage. We also have communal pickups. When an ally destroys or picks up your tangle or elemental orb, the tangle cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds, and you gain bonus damage to weapons matching your subclass for 10 seconds. That's pretty cool, actually. I feel like that could actually be some sort of strat you could do, because the tangle cooldown is getting reduced to 12 seconds. So obviously if it gets reduced by another 5 seconds, if someone shoots your tangle, you're going to have that 10 seconds of increased damage, but you only have a 7-second tangle cooldown now. So you could potentially keep this up at all times depending on how much damage it is. I feel like that might could be a strat, but not exactly sure. And this also will work with the new elemental orb, so that's pretty cool. But then we have refreshing pickup. So picking up a tangle or elemental orb grants energy to your least power ability. I don't imagine this was going to get used too much depending on the amount of ability energy you get, but obviously, you know, if you're playing into a heavy tangle based build, say something like the Wanderer, since it's getting buffed, you know, you're just going to get some energy for some other stuff. That's pretty cool in my opinion. I just don't know if it's going to be like the best thing in the game. But we have semi-auto striker. If you have fewer than 2 stacks of armor charge, rapid precision shots with bows, snipers, and scout rifles generate an armor charge. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So if, you know, you just don't have armor charge, you now just have a way of getting in it without actually having to like pick an orb up. So, you know, if you're shooting a boss, you can actually get armor charge, which again, they can proc a surge. Snipers aren't really in the meta right now, but imagine if you were using something like Supremacy with the 4th time the charm rewind round roll. I'm pretty sure where you can just shoot pretty much indefinitely. You could just constantly keep reproccing surge mods over and over. So that could be pretty cool. It's just, I don't know how well this is going to perform, but I think it could be all right. But scrolling back up to the top, our last row mod is going to be Monochromatic Maestro. This is going to be returning one, but if you don't know what it does, dealing elemental ability damage increases matching weapon damage, and elemental weapon damage increases matching ability damage. Bonus granted is 10% for 5 seconds. So this is going to actually be pretty good. Monochromatic Maestro was really strong when it first came out. This is one of my favorite mods. This is actually going to be pretty cool paired with the new Foe Tracer rework, because that is essentially getting Monochromatic Maestro. So they're just going to go together very well. I imagine that could be a pretty crazy build that, you know, a lot of people are going to start using. We also have Rapid Fire Ranger. Rapid precision hits made from long range weaken the target. So, okay, this one's obviously going to be very strong. Depending on how far away you are from the target, you're just going to be able to weaken enemies like crazy. This has been a mod in the game before. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was basically the exact same thing. If you just get rapid precision hits, it might have been specifically with scout rifles, it would make the enemies weak. So this is just going to be kind of everything. You just get rapid precision hits, you make enemies weak. So this could be really, really good in things like a GM. Now we have Elemental Embrace. Subclass elemental buffs grant you bonus recovery and damage resistance against combatant attacks of that matching element type. So this could be pretty cool. I imagine when it's just saying elemental buffs, it means like everything that can be on you, like a void overshield or you know, woven metal, something like that. Maybe even like invisibility as well, or amplify. So you just get damage resistance for that specific buff, but you also just get bonus recovery. So if you amplify, you now just get bonus recovery. Depending on how much that recovery is, this could be pretty strong, but also the damage resistance, you know, if you're running an arc build and you're in a very arc damage heavy area, this could be pretty good, honestly. Just again, gonna depend on the numbers of it, but it could potentially be pretty strong. Now we have Elemental Munitions. Combatant final blows with tangles or elemental orbs have a chance to drop special or heavy ammo. Okay, so this is going to be pretty good. It does say a chance, depending on how much that chance is kind of what's going to make or break this. But I imagine if it's pretty high, obviously just having a way to make ammo on a sort of short cooldown. And again, you can also kind of pair this with the other one. So if your teammate shoots it, the tangle gets a kill, you're going to have a reduced tangle cooldown. But then I guess your teammate would also make the ammo if they do have this mod equipped. It's could be some crazy combinations coming in with these, but I think this could be pretty good because obviously having a way to make heavy ammo is always nice. And then finally we have Frenzied Stacks. Your armor charge grant bonus damage to your thrown tangles or elemental orbs. Your armor charge now decays over time. Okay, so this could be potentially cool depending on the amount of damage you get. You know, if this could turn your tangle or an elemental orb into something like a Nova Bomb, that could be potentially really, really cool. I'm not exactly sure, you know, the damage we're going to get from this, but it does make your armor charge decay over time. So just keep that in mind if you are running an armor charge build that does take advantage of stuff when you don't want it to decay. But, you know, this could be, like I said, this could be cool depending on the amount of damage you get. But then if we scroll down a little bit, they do say a little bit more. They say on the final note, the overload machine guns and hand cannon are currently not overcharging when the modifier is active. It's a bug. Anti-barrier bow and unstoppable fusion rifle will overcharge the weapons, but it's not currently reflected in the game. So they are getting the buff, it's just not currently shown. And then the issues will be corrected in a later patch. So that's cool. But okay, just looking back, I guess as a recap out of all of these mods, I honestly don't foresee any of these mods being like crazy broken, say something like Volatile Flow, or maybe even some of, you know, the mods from this current season. But this is all honestly going to depend on how strong these elemental orbs are. I'd imagine they're probably going to be somewhat of the same level as tangles, Entangles are, they're okay. They're obviously not the best thing in the game. That like they're extra damage you can just throw out, but honestly, if you can play into that, do more damage, make ammo with them, this could potentially be pretty strong. Things like Monochromatic Maestro, I think, are, just something that obviously pretty much everyone will use. It's cool to see hand cannons get a champion mod as well, since they're going to be getting a huge buff this season. And they did focus on Void, Arc, and Solar, and nothing else honestly reflects that like how it has been. They kind of mixed it up a little bit, where you would kind of just have like your certain pick these for a Void build, pick these for a Strand build. So everything is just kind of completely based on this new system they're making, where you could just throw elemental orbs out like Tangles or Warmind cells. So again, this is just going to all boil down to if these elemental orbs, this new system in general, is good, and if it is, then obviously you're going to want these. But if it ends up just being kind of then I wouldn't stress about getting any of these if you're trying to prep for a day one raid. Things like Monochromatic Maestro, again, is good. It's definitely not super necessary. And Rapid Fire Ranger, you really only need one person to have this. That could be potentially really good as well, but again, really only need one person. But yeah, excited to test all these out. I'm sure I'll have a video going live as soon as I unlock, or get all the way to the end of the artifact perk, trying to test as much of these out as I can. So if you all would like to see that, or just any Destiny related content coming with season 22, or even the final shakes, I'm definitely going to be posting my reactions. I'm super excited for the 22nd. Be sure to stick around the channel. I really appreciate all you guys' support. Thank you all so much for watching this one, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.